Let me tell you a story. So, I've mentioned before in videos. This is one of my first political talk videos, so we're just gonna talk real quick. So before I realized that I was an atheist, I was religious. Um, I still live around a religious people in my household, which is fine. People are allowed to have their beliefs, even though, to be honest, I believe their beliefs are shitty. This is so. I remember one day I walked out and they're watching the prophet, the guy in charge of their whole religion, comes out and says there's an attack on their way of life. And there is no attack on Christians' way of life. I mean, I'm sure that there's some asshole out there that probably, like, screws with them, right? And it probably is a jerk and, like, makes fun of their beliefs or whatever. But for the most part, most people don't give a shit. When people talk, when Christians talk, there's an attack on their way of life. They talk about things like abortion. They talk about the LGBTQ community. So, as someone who grew up in religion and read the fucking Bible, there is no scripture that you can fucking point to that tells you abortion is bad, transgender people are bad, non binary people, whatever the fuck sexuality you want to think is out there. There is no scripture that you can point to that points anything are bad or harmful. Magical fucking Sky God is not here stopping any of these things from happening, so shut the fuck up. It's okay to have faith and have beliefs. And in this video, I'm just really going to talk about two things. The way the right has been recently responding to the LGBTQ community this month, because it is Pride Month, and I think that's very horrible what's been going on. Um, it, I just I've been very angry with the situation with abortion as well, so we're going to talk about that. So if you don't know, I don't know how you don't know. The Supreme Court made a ruling that abortion is now going to be more illegal in states. There was one state, in fact, that if you now have an abortion, you get life in prison. Also, in that state, did you know that if you got raped, if someone raped you, right, the person who got raped gets life in prison. So you're getting the. So think about this, okay? Someone who's raped and wants to have an abortion because they were raped could either have the child or go to life in prison for the same consequence of the person who's raped them. You know, Georgia, literally 10 minutes after this ruling was decided, they started passing laws against abortion. And the Supreme Court members who did this claim that they're doing this as an act of God. Make no mistake. Here's my thing. I don't care about abortion. Someone asked me my thoughts on it. Here's all I'll say. It is not my place to have opinions about fucking abortion because I am not a woman. I can't give birth. I don't have reproductive parts. I have a dick. Right? So when you have these things, you shouldn't be allowed to comment on abortion. And what I mean by that is you I mean, like, reality wise, this whole situation is ridiculous because what it is, it's just a bunch of old white and whatever politicians doing this, deciding what women can do with their bodies. This is the land of the free, and we're letting this happen. We're letting politicians go up there and decide what we can do with our bodies. And That is just disgusting. I and so I don't know what's going to happen next. I do think that with this midterm elections, a lot of people are going to vote Democrat because I mean, they know now that this is going to be that these Republicans aren't going to make the changes that they want. They're going to fuck them. And people in the Supreme Court have already mentioned. One of them was talking about how he's going for gay marriage rights next, and that kind of transitions into the Pride Month thing. Um, this has been a very homophobic Pride Month, with Lightyear being a big controversy because of a 2 second gay kiss. No, not even 2 seconds, like 30, 20 seconds they hold each other, 20 seconds they kiss. This is nonsense. Um, Someone got mad at me once and said that it's not homophobic to not take your kids to a movie because it has a gay kiss. I'm sorry, it is. Just straight up. Because, like, if you don't want to watch the movie with your kids, whatever. Don't really give a shit. But if you're mad, so mad that you find it inappropriate to show to your kids, it shows that you see something sinister in this community of people, and that's why it's inappropriate to you. And I think this is something that's really been. I think Lightyear's a victim of something that's been going on in the state of Florida. State of Florida is now this is something that has actually been starting in other states too. So in the state of California, they actually passed some. They passed some rulings that in schools they were going to teach gender acceptance. The right flipped a fucking lid. They took that and they said, no, they're going to teach your kids how to masturbate and all this shit. And I find that so disgusting because not only is it disgusting that they would claim an entire group of people would do this, that they're basically pedophiles, right? Because only pedophiles would do that shit. But also, it claims that we're all very ignorant, right? Because, so they say this already passed. Okay, so this passed, right? Then why aren't there teachers rioting in the streets or protesting this decision? Because do you think a teacher would do this? I heard someone say, well, they're forced to do it. Are they really forced to do it? Because are they having a gun put to their head and say, you must teach this to my child? They aren't. No one's doing this. No one is doing this shit. So in Florida, they went and made a don't say gay bill that they claimed was about not teaching kids about the LGBTQ community by a fascist governor who wants to pass things such as an anti-woke tax and all this shit. He wants to ban math books in school because of critical race theory. You know, this guy is horrible. Disney got up in this controversy because they refused to say anything, which is very important because A, they claim to be a major supporter of the LGBTQ community. Also, what's in Florida? Fucking Disney World. So, you know, they did something horrible. Disney apologized for it. I frankly don't accept their apology, but because no one should, they should be moving to do better now. And from there, they can earn their forgiveness, to be honest. Um, which I think is fair to say. At the end of the day, Disney's not going to be hurt by this. They're just. It's more just the frustrating tack of the LGBTQ community. No one's teaching your kid how to fuck because they're gay. No one's fucking do this. Fucking go to hell. No one does this shit. And it's just gross. And now they're making this Disney company out to be this evil company. Here's the thing, I love how people say, oh, Disney's got this woke agenda. They got this gay agenda. Do they? Because you think about like Lightyear, for example. They were going to cut it out. They came out in a news article and said that they weren't going to do it. You know how that happened? It wasn't because Disney's such a good company and they love the gays. No, it's because that the artists and animators who work on this shit, they fought to keep that in the movie. The Owl House, same thing. These things are not because Disney has this agenda that they're pushing. It's just disgusting that people think like this. This is just shitty. And I think, and then after that, there was a man in Texas. Now, who he went to a city hall meeting, stood up in Texas and said that okay, gay people deserve to be put to death. He compared them bestiality, um, child predators, um, all the horrible shit you can think of. And when he was asked to apologize for his thing that he said he doesn't, and the homophobic slurs he said in his speech, he said he doesn't negotiate with terrorists. And these are all things that have been controversies and things that have been talked about during Pride Month. And I think it's really sad because, we're supposed to be celebrating it, but it doesn't really feel like anybody's celebrating these things. It seems like people are very angry at at this at these people who legitimately, like, yeah, there's some crazy people in the LGBTQ community, but they mostly mind their own fucking business. I work at a movie theater, okay? I've literally seen a trans woman walk up to me. I've seen two lesbians. I've seen whatever walk up to me. They don't say anything. They don't make a big deal out of it. Yes, there's radicals, but this is why we need to ignore the radicals, because they're not the majority. They're the minority. And this is the problem that with this thing now. And I reason I brought up what I brought up at the beginning about religion is because all this stuff is boiling down to that Republicans are and conservatives are more Christian based. Not that doesn't mean all of them are, but now they're coming to attack our way of life, and a lot of their religions, are saying that they're the ones who are being attacked. And this is the thing that Republicans actually do. They constantly say they're attacked, right? Remember when Gina Carano got fired, and what did she post? She posted an image of Jews from World War II saying that, the plight of the conservatives in America was very similar to the plight of the Jews during World War II. And of course, she got incredible backlash for this because it was an incredibly shitty thing to say. But Republicans propped her up and claimed they were the victim. It's funny because in the Hollywood system, a lot of people like her. They say, like, Chris Pratt, yeah, everyone's out to get them. Because you know what Chris Pratt said? He said gay people are sins. I mean, there's more to it than that, but But Chris Pratt was in. People say that they're out to get Chris Pratt. They don't like him. Yet Chris Pratt was just in that Jurassic World movie, made a shit ton of money. He's freaking Mario in an animated movie. He's getting all kinds of roles. People love him. And look at the reality of it. 50 states are Republican states. Supreme Court, majority Republican. This shit is not what you think it is. Democrats have the majority of the House. Yeah. And that doesn't mean that they have control over everything. And that's really the problem. I don't think Democrats are always the best in their decision making. But when shit like this happens, shit like this where it's a bunch of religious zealots trying to tell you what you can do with your own body and possibly end up deciding whether or not you're allowed to marry a man that you are in love with. I don't know what to say except midterm elections, vote. Vote. Because change is happening, but change is only happening if we fucking vote.